Hello and welcome everybody to the Mineski Pro Gaming League season number 6, as we actually get into the draft as well. One spectator was missing, but thank God that Valve made it so the spectators not all that important anymore for loading into games. But it's going to be a 2-game series, Team Malaysia versus Invasion Esports. So an all Malaysian affair, should be a pretty damn exciting game. Yesterday Invasion, they had kind of a disappointing result, to be honest, up against Aces, but maybe they can redeem themselves today. In any case, we're HeflaTV, the English coverage for you. I am Coucher, and once again today I am joined by Mike Loris.
And the final spectator actually did connect in, and it was our very own Heflamogue who was holding everything up. So yeah, that's fine. We're not gonna dwell on that anymore. But yeah, Team Malaysia versus Invasion. It's hard to say that Team Malaysia aren't the favorites, not only to win this group, but to win the entire thing as well. And they are just off of a 2-0. Fresh. Invasion, they're going to have to pull something really huge if they want to take Malaysia down.
It's definitely true, man. I have seen Invasion beat Titan before, but I guess Titan wasn't the exact same as Team Malaysia. They still had Yamate. Not to say that they were weak then, by any means. They were still number 1 in Southeast Asia, but Invasion, I guess if a team in this group is about to take Team Malaysia down, it might be Invasion. But we shall see, as once again Team Malaysia, they have banned Abaddon every single game. They banned Spirit Breaker in the second game up against Aces as well. I have no idea what the thought behind that ban is, but do you have any clue, like, any at all?
Alright, it's either they've been studying Invasion a lot and realize that they like these heroes. That's not something that I've seen. So I don't really know what the brilliant minds behind Team Malaysia are thinking with that, but it might just be like a BM ban. Like, they don't even care. They're just like, okay, we're just gonna make sure that you get whatever you want, and we'll get whatever we want, and then we'll just be happy with that. So Team Malaysia potentially feeling very confident, because I'm not too scared of an Abaddon Spirit Breaker pick, to be honest.
I mean, up against Aces, they did play Abaddon up against Invasion yesterday, so I guess Abaddon ban up against Aces made a bit sense. The Spirit Breaker though, no clue at all. But Team Malaysia going for a Skyref to begin with, and actually Magnus this time around. They did start one draft, I think, with a Centaur Skyref, but Magnus, I mean, it's always fun to see just the huge RPs, or at least the potential of them.
Yeah, Mag and Centaur are kind of similar heroes. I mean, they're both tanky. They both offer you quite a bit of initiation, but generally Centaur Scarth Mage does offer you a little bit more flexibility as far as lanes are concerned, and as far as just overall damage output. So, you know, usually that is the combo, but Magnus, a strong hero. I think he's debatably worthy of being picked up first, as he is more of a build around me hero. You could combo up with Magnus very well. Now that you have him in power, you could look for carries that are melee, so you get cleave value, and maybe try to make a combination with the RP as well. So, you know, it's not the most common first pick, but I could buy this.
It definitely can be strong, and I wouldn't put it past Team Malaysia to actually go for a Centaur even after this, unless Invasion just pans it out or picks it themselves now. Just because, well, Magnus, Reverse Polarity, what's a beautiful follow-up. Of course, Hoof Stomp and Double H to all of those heroes as well. So it's still a possibility. Even a Sand King could be picked up by Team Malaysia really as the secondary support here. Net plays a pretty sick Sand King, of course. So we will see what they want to build around the Magnus here. Invasion though, they two start with a Death Prophet, a hero that they used to play quite a lot before. And of course that hero is ridiculously strong. But what do they go for? Do they go for additional push now? Something like a Shadow Shaman, Jakiro, anything along those lines? Maybe a Nature's Prophet offlane?
I think those lines are pretty good, not because they do offer a lot of push, but because they could do other things and then push. Like, pushing would kind of be an afterthought if you do go that route, just because I don't think pushing in general is the strategy you want to be in this current meta game. You more want to be able to take these team fights, and Invasion, they are going to pick up the Tidehunter so that they get a little bit of an answer to the Mag. And Ravage is a pretty good tool versus RP. Assuming your Tidehunter doesn't get hit with an RP, and even if he does, you can Kraken Shell and buff that out. Ravage is going to stop the show. And if Magnus, Scarth Mage, Sand King, Centaurs, whatever that Team Malaysia want to pick up can't actually follow up on the RP, then it's just a mediocre stun that does like 10 damage, 50 damage, whatever. Yeah, 50 damage at level 1. That's not worth casting. So Tidehunter, a great pickup versus Mag, and if the lanes do shape up in a way where it's Tidehunter versus Mag, Tidehunter's a pretty good time.
It's definitely true, so it actually might happen here as well, although both the bans come out pretty damn fast to be honest. Invasion banning out the Bristleback and the Earthshaker, whereas Team Malaysia going for an Ember Spirit ban to begin with. I guess Invasion also run the Ember Spirit rather often. Although having Death Prophet and Ember Spirit, I think actually they had it in one game yesterday as well. Not too sure if it had success or not, but well, we shall see. Earthshaker actually, Team Malaysia, they played a mid lane Earthshaker in the secondary game up against Aces just now, Mushi. Just getting that fast blink tag on the Earthshaker, and well, overall that game was rape. It was over by 12 minutes in, so I guess it didn't really matter who played what hero.
Yeah, I mean, I said yesterday that I expect Team Malaysia to win most of their games. Maybe they might drop a game or two. They should win all their sets at the very least. That's what's expected of them. But winning it with a core shaker like that, it's kind of embarrassing for the other side. But we're gonna see not that, unfortunately. I love me some core shaker. With him and Bristleback being banned out, Invasion, they're just getting rid of potential combo heroes with the Mag. They're not the most common empowered heroes, but they could still do some serious hurt with that buff on them. And now Rubik banned out from Malaysia.
I guess Malaysia, they could go for something like an Enigma as well. They played Enigma, I think maybe even both of the games against Aces. Can't even recall now. Definitely in one game. And banning out Rubik, I guess stealing Reverse Polarity is all good and well for Rubik, but until he gets his Blink Dagger, he can't usually get into the counter Reverse Polarity position all that well. And is it worth banning out the Rubik if you only have a Magnus? I definitely feel like there's something more coming out from Malaysia now.
Yeah, it would indicate that. And if you look at Team Malaysia's lineup, like, they could pick up a Rubik and be perfectly happy with that. Against Death Prophet and Tidehunter, Rubik is pretty decent, and with Scarth Mage, he's good as well, but instead, not going to see the light of day, that hero, and Alchemist is going to be the pick for Malaysia. Now, could be mid-Alch, it could be a roaming support. I do like the core Alchemist more in this situation, just because Scarth Mage, Alchemist don't really work well together. You want to be doing physical damage with Alchemist and magical damage with Scarth Mage, and those two don't really have any overlap. So if it does go together, then it's going to be a little bit wonky. Still a lot of damage regardless, though. So they have a little bit of flexibility there. Or if it's run in the #1 farming position, Mag and Power onto an Alchemist with that Chemical Rage is terrifying.
Oh, that would be pretty damn sick indeed, if they actually manage to pull it off. Plus, of course, Unstable Concoction overall, an AoE stun, so Reverse Polarity followed up by that can definitely be strong as well. Invasion though, picking up a Chikiro for themselves. Most likely I can expect it to be just a support here. They can run it in a core role as well, still in the safe lane, if they want to go extremely push heavy, but I think I'd prefer it as a support.
Yeah, me too. He's going to get enough levels of Liquid Fire to pressure the towers, and even though they're dealing with Shockwaves and Acid Spray, that Liquid Fire chip damage is so impossible to defend against, unless you're going to run like an Omni Knight with Aghanims or a Treant or something like that, but that's kind of going overboard in counters. It's also going to add a lot of nice AoE to their team comp. The Tidehunter, Jakiro, just going to add a whole bunch of chaos to those team fights. So when you have the Death Prophet spirits flying out as well, then suddenly the fights get really hectic. And Team Malaysia, with an RP, you kind of want to take them nice and precisely. You want to be able to jump in, skewer someone back, or jump in RP onto two heroes, then very quickly bring them down. Once the fight breaks out from that, then Malaysia's heroes get a little bit in a more an awkward position, especially Skyrath Mage. An Alchemist can brawl once that situation arises, and so can Ogre Magi. So Team Malaysia, they're going to be more or less prepared for this. They pick up a third really tanky hero.
To be honest, it really feels like the Ogre Magnus combination overall with any core hero has become somewhat popular. We see even Magnus and Ogre picked up separately, of course, as well, but just Bloodlust plus Empower. Oh man, I actually really want to see that core Alchemist now, because he would literally just chew through everything and anybody. Like, who could actually stand up to Chemical Rage and Power plus Bloodlust?
You're going to need a lot of blade mails. Just a lot of blade mails and a Heaven's Halberd, maybe two, and just stuff like that. But Malaysia, they're going to seemingly go almost all in with their Alchemist. Alion's a nice pick up for Invasion, as they were previously a little bit stun light. Jakiro, Ice Path, Ravage, that's about all they had. So getting a hero loaded with disables is going to certainly be very useful against the mag, but Lion's also very soft, and Team Malaysia, they're putting out a lot of magical burst damage with Ogre Magi, Skyrath Mage. If Ogre, Skyrath roam, then Lion is going to be on the receiving end of a very, very heavy stick.
I also like Lion just because Finger of Death or any kind of burst really is rather essential to deal with an Alchemist, because otherwise the Chemical Rage health per second kicks in and it's really hard to bring him down with damage over time. So just the burst might be what it takes to just kill the Alchemist, insta-give him. Last bans though, Team Malaysia banning out the Terror Blade, Clinks of all heroes taken out by Invasion. Clinks of course did get slightly buffed, Searing Arrows, not an attack modifier anymore. But even with that, there's only really a handful of teams maximum that really play the Clinks that often nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, he's a powerful hero for sure. In this lineup of Malaysia, it'll be okay. I mean, Clinks is generally okay with attack speed, so Bloodlust is not a big deal. But the fact that he has people to hide behind would have made him a okay pick. Again, there could be better ones. Malaysia, they are looking for another ranged hero as well, or they should be. Going with Alchemist, Mag, Ogre, Magi, that's very melee heavy, and against Jakiro, Lion, Tide, you don't really want to be loading up a melee hero, so I think it'll be beneficial for Malaysia to pick up a ranged hero. Possibly shift the Mag out of the mid lane and then pick up a ranged hero there, because ranged cores, they're kind of hard to come by. Well, there's one right there, Nature's Prophet.
It's definitely a hero that Team Malaysia have played quite often. Ohio is pretty damn good on that hero, of course. And I guess that kind of settles their lanes most likely. Magnus mid, Alchemist, Ogre, Skyrath safe, and Nature's Prophet off lane, or at least that's what I would expect out of this. Although Alchemist, Ogre, Skyrath wouldn't be too bad of an aggressive tri-lane really either. But if you're running Alchemist core, you might as well go just full greed with it.
Yeah, I think so as well. They could get away with it, and I think whether they do go for it or not depends on what Invasion pick up as their last hero right here. Comboing with the Lion and Jakiro, which although can do a little bit of damage down the line, once they get a couple levels, they're going to need someone else. And there we go. There's a heavy hero, a very heavy hitter in the Viper to go with the Lion Jakiro, who are pretty weak from level 1. They get really strong at level 5 to 9-ish. Viper will be able to hold down the fort. So now with this Viper pickup, I don't think Malaysia are going to go for an aggressive tri-lane. It'll just simply be too risky.
Yeah, do you think Invasion themselves might go for an aggressive one though, just to make sure Alchemist doesn't get the crazy amount of free farm with the Grievous Greed?
No, I think Invasion's tri-lane is just strong enough so that they could do whatever they want with it. If they want to shut down the Alchemist, then they could and probably will get away with an aggressive tri-lane. But if they're just going to prioritize the Viper's farm, get a fast mech, and then try to go for some early pushing, then obviously defensive is the way to go. But I think that offensive is probably a little bit better.
I would agree with that as well. Or at least I would like to see that, but so far Team Malaysia, Mushi has picked up the Alchemist. I guess they're not really set in their lanes anyway. KYXY plays mid lane as often as Mushi mostly, just depending on what hero they get. But Mushi Alchemist, man, might be fun. Of course, we'll see what Invasion has to think about it. But to introduce the lineups, for Invasion, Ghost will be playing the Tidehunter, leaving ADTR, their captain, on the Jakiro, with Kechikimba on the Death Prophet, FCFC to be the Viper, and OK, the last one is on the Lion.
And on the Team Malaysia side, we got KYXY playing the Mag, currently heading up towards top lane, still sitting the base. It's Ohio's Nature's Prophet. Supports, X is going to be on the Skyrath Mage, Net is on the Ogre Magi. That leaves Mushi to be playing the Alchemist. And we've been talking about Pokemon a lot. I think it's just because Ohio has a Pikachu picture, but it's been like the talk of the draft for the entire time, or the lobby.
Yeah, I have no idea
I don't know
why they're
either.
so pumped about Pokemon. Maybe, I don't know, maybe the region didn't have Pokemon earlier on and they just got the first season or something. I don't know.
Red and blue on Game Boy? That'll be
Oh.
crazy.
Well, but at the moment, Net already placed down a rather aggressive Observer Ward. I think ADTR actually saw the Ogre Magi placing it down, so if they have any sentries, I expect this Observer Ward to not be there for too long.
Yeah, probably. It's not on the Jakiro, and doing a quick
Well, they actually
sentry
don't
check.
have them at all.
Yeah, there are no sentries, so they are going to spot out this entire area, and looks like Team Malaysia, they expect there to be wards, but unknowns to them, all the wards are currently
Look at
handled by the
KYXY.
Lion.
Can he get the skewer onto ADTR? There's the concussive shot coming out. Actually, he's waiting for it. He has it skilled up as well. And actually, they might even get it without ADTR. He couldn't eat his way through completely, and well, that's gonna be first blood.
Yeah, I don't think he realized that that doesn't lead anywhere. I certainly thought that it looked like he might be able to get somewhere, but you needed one more tango to completely get out of there. And, you know, the Magnus deciding to hold on to the skewer, going to be 80 mana that he could use later on. Either way, First Blood is going to be claimed by the Ogre Magi, and that means very bad things for Invasion. That means boots early on for Net, and you never want to be up against an Ogre Magi this early on with boots.
Yeah, and an Ogre Magi at the moment as well. He's actually a hero that can kind of man fight up against Tidehunter. Usually melee supports aren't really favorable because you can't bully out the enemy offlaner that easily, but just 7 base armor already with the 2 iron branches and 63 base damage as well. I guess Anchor Smash is still a pain in the ass for anybody, but man, Ogre, such a strong hero.
Yeah, the armor is going to be armor on Ogre Magi is going to be very relevant in this lane against Anchor Smash. As you said, is going to reduce that damage pretty much down to nothing, and then it's just a damage debuff, which is annoying but manageable. And Jakiro is pretty reliant on his physical damage as well. Like the dot of Liquid Fire, level 1 isn't too impressive, so this Ogre Magi is going to be able to poke and prod quite a bit and stay comfortable because he does have those boots. Now there are boots on the Jakiro and Tidehunter, but the fact that Ogre Magi has his as well means that he's going to be safe if Invasion ever want to pull the trigger on this one. And if Malaysia want to go aggressive, they can do that as well. Ignite first on the Ogre Magi. This is the way to play Ogre. I like this. I like the way Net's playing it.
Yeah, Ignite is just so strong, plus the cast range is reasonable as well on it. And oh, now they get level 2, they want to go in, Concussive Shot, Fire Blast to follow up as well. Can they get the Skewer back though? They shoot if all the slows onto Ghost, and do they even need it? That's the question. The Skewer finally comes back, and well, KYXY, he was patient with it, he gets the kill for himself as well. And Team Malaysia off to a great start, and overall, what do you think of Invasion's decision about the laning phase, just running double dual lanes like this?
It's pretty greedy. The Tidehunter isn't really getting much help from the Jakiro, but the bottom lane is doing okay for Malaysia, so it's not like it's disastrous or anything like that. But if they did have another hero over on the bottom lane, then this Nature Prophet will be getting nothing. And currently he's getting something that's not really that great for Invasion when they have the capability to stop that. Looks like they are going to finally deward the ancient area, but Invasion, they should be making a rotation now. Jakiro should not be doing anything up on top lane because he simply can't. He should be going down bottom and shutting down the Nature Prophet a little bit more and starting to push the tower a little bit.
Well, it's definitely, I think, better than what he's doing at the moment, since level 1 Shakiro, I guess if he had skilled Ice Path, might have been able to help out Ghost there, but his Liquid Fire, you just can't do anything at all when Team Malaysia decides to go aggressive. So finally he's rotating out of there, but so far, just zero usefulness really of the Shakiro. And actually, the ward that Invasion managed to deny by the end, it was still 2 sentries used for that one ward, so Team Malaysia really still have one ward running for themselves. And I mean, 2-0 up, 3 minutes in, definitely looking good. But mid lane, Getchi Kimba, I guess it's kind of expected for a Death Prophet to have the upper hand up against an Alchemist. 20-7 compared to 12-1 so far. But I don't think Mushi is too unhappy about how things are going. At least nobody's ganking him.
Yeah, Alchemist isn't really a hero that wins his lane. He's more like a Dragon Knight who just survives his lane and is a constant annoyance with the Acid Spray. Eventually he'll be wanting to rotate out and try to get kills, so that's really where you test the value of the Alchemist, not in the laning stage. So if he does poorly right now, it's not going to be a big deal for Malaysia since they're planning on him doing big things later on. such as right now with Net and X rotating in towards the mid lane. Keswick smells this one coming a mile away, though. He has support coming as well. Ghost and Jakiro both leaving, but they initiate onto Keswick. There's the Ignite and the Fire Blast. Stunned from long range from Mushi, and this should be the death of the Death Prophet. She's going to go down, no Crypt Storm used. Now Gush onto Mushi. He's pretty vulnerable in this situation. Liquid Fire on him, and it looks like he will go down, bottling up, trying to get enough HP to survive. It's not going to be enough. That's going to be a 1-for-1 kill. Mid lane for mid lane. Overall, it's more or less a wash.
Yeah, kind of. Maybe a slight advantage even to Invasion, since Jakiro was just struggling so hard before, but yeah, kind of a wash like you said exactly. So I think if Alchemist had a little bit more mana to work with there, had gotten the acid spray, he actually didn't really need to run there himself for the right clicks. But unfortunately not enough mana for the acid spray, so had to go in, get physical himself, paid with it. But I mean, level wise, actually Death Prophet is level 6 compared to Mushi's level 5, so an entire level ahead almost.
Yeah, that does make it a little bit better for Malaysia. They're killing off a hero who has higher levels and is worth more to the team. Net is also going to be stalking Keswick. He can't really do anything by himself. As powerful as Ogre is, a level 3 Ogre versus a level 6 Death Prophet is not going to end well for you, Net. And I don't know where he's going, but it looks like the Death Prophet didn't see him. So, sneaky Ogre is sneaky.
I guess the Death Prophet might have thought that it's an illusion or something, I'm not too sure, but well, he does notice the stack, of course, prevents it from stacking once, or the triple stack rather from happening. And look at mid lane, I guess they want to go on Kechik again. Extinct, he's hanging around, they have high ground vision as well themselves. Kechik though should be fast enough, the concussive shot is there, they need a little bit more, and suddenly Mushi is gonna stun himself, there's the Ice Path as well. Can they turn it around onto Mushi? Never mind, they actually got the unstable concoction off onto ADTR, so he's fine.
Yeah, the Ignite doesn't actually get to that huge cast range until the Ogre picks up a couple points in multicast. If he had that, then for sure they could have slowed Keswick but enough to consider going for that, but Death Prophet with 3 points in Witchcraft is very, very fast, and she'll be able to keep herself at a comfortable distance, assuming this doesn't happen. Concussive from the side, Net from the high ground is going to throw out Ignite. Fire Blast available to him as well, but Mushi and X are going to walk Keswick down. Now sprouted up by Ohio, who's also joined this fight. A little bit unnecessarily, but a kill is a kill, and now they could think about going for a tower push. Otherwise, I don't know why Ohio really joined this.
I guess they were maybe expecting some more resistance to come out from Invasion, but oh man, look at Net. He's gonna have his arcane boots as well, even Mushi coming in. They're gonna go top lane, Ghost. Do they have reverse polarity? Yes, they do. They have Empower as well. They're gonna get the first down onto Ghost, Tidehunter. Nowhere to run really. Kraken Shell only level 1. Can they get vision though? Yes, they can, just before Mushi stuns himself. So easy kill for KYXY. More TPs to come though. KYXY still has his reverse polarity ready. FC on the Viper. He has the Viper Strike, uses it onto Net as well, but this little Ogre, so damn tanky. I think he's gonna go down anyway in the end. ADTR finds him as well. And look at this, just KYXY hiding in the trees, going for the TP out. Rather late, but at least it's a 1-for-1, a core for a support, so still Malaysia get the upper hand.
Yeah, the Ogre dying, though he is pretty stacked. I mean, he has arcane boots on a support 7 minutes into the game. Him going down is not a big deal. They're gonna go for okay on the bottom lane as well. Unfortunately, these heroes don't really have any way at all, aside from pure damage of stopping a TP out, so he gets to live. But Malaysia's still with control of this game. They're rotating around on Mushi, and that's exactly what I was talking about before. The value of this Alchemist is measured in his ganking, and he's going to go once again for the top lane. They might have to worry about Ravage. No, they don't. They're going to throw the stun onto FC, sprouting to get vision as well. But Tidehunter's running interference, and you can't really fight through this Anchor Smash. You're not hitting at all for any damage, and Mushi is going to drop pretty low, but he has a bottle as well as Chemical Rage. Looks like everyone on top lane is going to survive, but Malaysia still putting up this pressure. And with an Ogre Magi, that's exactly what you're supposed to do.
To be honest, really nicely body blocked by the Tidehunter, plus the Anchor Smash is coming out as well. Otherwise, Viper would have gone down pretty fast. Yes, he has 3 points into corrosive skin, but just the heroes that Team Malaysia have are such high nuke damage early on. And to be honest, I'm a little bit surprised KYXY hasn't thrown out a single reverse polarity yet. Although we might see one soon enough. If only Skyriff Mage was level 6, he would just go for it. Easy reverse polarity into Mystic Flare. At the moment though, just getting a rune, double damage, will help out somewhat, but they're actually denying both runes at the same time. Really nicely done by Team Malaysia, making sure that Death Prophet just can't refill his bottle easily.
Yeah, and slowing down the Death Prophet's mana input is going to mean your towers live for that much longer because she doesn't have Crypt Storm mana, or she isn't comfortable using her mana for Crypt Storm. Going back to Mag though, he hasn't actually needed to use RP. Like, the gank up on top lane was pretty much cut and dry. Needed to use Skewer to clear the trees, and that was pretty much it. So Mag, he's going to probably use it whenever he has a chance, but that chance isn't going to come until he gets his Blink Dagger, because the way Team Malaysia are working this map right now, they're starting all these fights with the Alchemist and the Ogre that you don't really need an RP on Mag to follow up, because by the time the Mag gets into the area, after throwing a Shockwave, of course, the target is pretty much already dead. So RP is not going to be used, it'll just be redundant.
And look at where Ohio is, just sitting in the trees there, actually finally TPing out with a TP scroll. I guess he maybe mis-TP'd himself. Could have gotten himself out with the 3-ends. No idea why he didn't do so, but just wasting some time. Not losing too many creeps though. He was still in an XP range at the very least. And looks like both teams have kind of lain down on the aggression. Most of all, Team Malaysia. They aren't really going that aggressive for kills anymore. Do they have any big items they're waiting for? Maybe for KYX to finish up the Blink, for example?
Blink on Mag is going to be a huge pickup for him. That'll let him open up some fights, whereas previously he would be unable to do so. And Mushi's holding on to quite a bit of gold as well. 1600 would indicate to me that Mushi is also going to be going for a Blink Dagger, and those are just huge items as far as starting fights and keeping up your aggression, as they're going to take a little bit of time to pause and farm up these stacks that they've made for themselves previously, but if they do go for Blink Daggers, then I expect them to resume their aggression as soon as they pick up those items.
Well, I guess Mushi, he might even go for a Hand of Midas if he really wants to, although I would kind of prefer the Blink Dagger. Usually mid lane Alchemist is used in a more of a... whoa? More of a just casual role, utility role. But in the meantime, Ravage was popped, so they get the Ogre, but Ravage for Ogre, is it even worth it in this case?
It probably is. The Tidehunter's Ravage is not going to be up for 2 minutes, but Malaysia, they're not making any moves right now, and just as I say that, they're going to make a move up on top where it looks like they're going to smoke, and they will. So now is about the time when Ghost is going to be wishing he had a Ravage, as he might be on the receiving end of a 3-man gank. That being said, Mushi, Net, as well as X are going to be rotating over towards mid, where the Mag is just TPing out. So maybe they're trying to bait someone into the mid lane, and OK might be biting right here. Level 5 Lion is pretty tasty, and Net is almost guaranteed to get this done because he has Arcane Boots. Concussive Shot from long range, Ignite as well. OK slow to a crawl, 156 move speed. Gonna turn around for a spike attempt, but there's too much magical damage. He's just gonna burn, and he does go down. Mushi from the side is gonna get stunned up. He will stun himself, but he doesn't have the Chemical Rage on, so it's not too terrible for him. He's gonna take a lot of nuke damage, a lot of dots, but he will walk out just fine.
In the bottom lane, Magnus actually revealed his invisibility as well. I think he tried to skewer someone out of the tower, maybe even succeeded, but of course, everybody else was kind of occupied in the mid lane, but still nice kill onto Lion. Nice silence as well from the Ancient Seal just before the Earthspike came. The Earthspike actually might have been enough to either get him to safety or just buy enough time for the rotations to come in to get the counter kills. But now, KYXY has his Blink Dagger, and man, that's a huge item pickup. Easy reverse polarity skewer combo if he wants to go for it.
He's going to want to go for it. There's the RP. There's the skewer right into the clutches of a very angry Ogre Skywrath. Mystic Flare, kind of unnecessarily used, but they sure did get him. When you're dealing with a Viper, you pretty much want to take no chances. So first Blink Dagger shown by the Mag, and it looks like second usage is going to go deep for the Lion as well. The Finger of Death is available, but you can only cast Finger of Death if you're alive. And they're going to blow him up with simple Fire Blast, only level 2, and a Shockwave level 4. That Lion didn't stand a chance. And in the meantime, Mushi, he's been farming up elsewhere. He now has his Blink Dagger as well. This Team Malaysia train is not going to stop for anyone. They have everything that they need. Blink Dagger on Mag, Blink Dagger on the Alchemist, and Maelstrom, 2 nulls onto the Nature's Prophet. It doesn't get any better than this for them.
It really doesn't, and Extinct actually has enough for his own Arcane Boots now as well to just have even more sustain. Just go for the pushes non-stop and kind of get the kills. At the very least for Invasion, Death Prophet actually has some pretty nice farm himself. Number 2 rather in net worth. So it's not over for them by any means. I mean, Viper also closing in on the mech, only 250 gold short of it. Whereas, is there a mech coming out and anybody? You know, Team Malaysia, I guess Mushi might go for one later on, as he has the blink already, but actually, if you're playing as aggressive, I just think mech would be such a great item pickup on really anybody who can afford it.
Yeah, the big part is, of course, affording it, because it's not a cheap item to build. It's on the cheaper end, but still, if you're not actively going for it, oh well, hold on to that thought, as Keswick is going to run straight into net. The Mystic Flare is there, however, this is going to miss, as Keswick is pretty quick. Spike onto KYXY is going to eat the Finger and Macropyre, that will all bring him down. Also, the Scarith Mage being ganked up from FC from the bottom side. That's 2 down for Malaysia, as they're kind of caught in a pincer, and that's never where you want to be.
It's actually a pretty huge fight for Invasion, or I guess you can't even call it a fight, kind of Team Malaysia running into them and getting raped. They didn't have the reverse polarity ready, they couldn't get the skewer off or anything, just getting hexed and brought down, and suddenly FCFC has his mech finished. A little bit gold extra even. And Death Prophet all didn't go for that straight up Yule Scepter, went for drums first, I guess. One set of drums on the team is always gonna be nice. Probably Yule Scepter will come out next. But still, the free cores of Team Malaysia, they're just farming so damn well. And now with the reverse polarity of cooldown, I guess they want to go mid lane. Oh, actually, Mushi, he's getting caught. He can't get the chemical rage off and he goes down pretty fast.
He just walked into a whole bunch of heroes, and doesn't really matter who you are. If you run to an army that big, you're probably going to go down. Now, Keswick, I believe this is the first usage of Exorcism, is going to go to town on this tower. There is an RP in the back ends, though, so KYXY is going to be looking for an angle, but the best he could do right now is probably a 2-man. So I think it's just going to be better for Malaysia to just drop this. However, there's a 3-man RP, bringing them straight into a Mystic Flare. Ravage is out, though, and suddenly KYXY is dropping. He's going to go down. X is going to go down as well as Net, trying to TP away, but the Exorcism damage is too high. He's going to be the third one to fall. Malaysia, it was a good attempt, I guess, but the Mystic Flare split between 3 heroes. You have to burst down the Tidehunter, and that is so damn difficult to do.
Well, Invasion, they just take back-to-back fights for them. I think first skirmish was 2-0 for them now, getting a 3-0 plus a tower on top of that. Just absolutely excellent fighting, to be honest, and I guess it kind of reflects on the graphs as well. It used to be 4,000 net worth lead for Team Malaysia suddenly. It's not a huge lead for Invasion, but it's in their ballpark at the very least, 500 in their favor. XP from 2,000 for Team Malaysia, suddenly 3,000 for Invasion. I guess it's safe to say that they kind of turned the game around, or the advantage around at the very least. And I'd be a little bit scared, although looking at Invasion, I guess they messed up a little bit with their items. I mean, Viper went for the mech, but even Tidehunter had himself the Headrest and the Buckler. At the very least, these days, Buckler can transition into that Crimson Guard instead. But maybe a little bit of miscommunication. At the very least, might be Crimson Guard plus Pipe maybe for Tide.
Yeah, I think that's the natural progression from here, because those 2 items actually do still build into things, which is going to be very nice for Ghost, as he is going to pick up the Bit Booster and just go the tanky route. Crimson Guard doesn't really play very well with Kraken Shell. It kind of doesn't play at all, but still, it's an item for the team, and otherwise you're just going to have a dead Buckler in your inventory, so you might as well get something out of it, or just holding the casual Bit Booster, maybe heading for the Pipe next. The Tidehunter at the end of the day is going to be very tanky, and that's what matters. Malaysia have a lot of magical damage. It's very single target focused, so Pipe is going to be burned through pretty quickly, although it's still going to be up on other heroes. And the last Teamfighter Invasion pretty much stopped the Malaysia aggression. It shouldn't stop them for very long, though, because they do still have all the tools that they really need, as now it's going to be Invasion looking for something. They're going to get their smoke blown, and the Treants are going to spot this. So it will be everyone from Malaysia backing off, but for right now, Malaysia don't really have anyone who's really taking that hyper carry role. Mushi's starting to get points in Grievil's Greed, but he's not quite there yet, whereas everyone else on Invasion, they have the Viper, they have the Death Prophet, and they're farming pretty decently. So Malaysia might be wanting to back off and just play it safe with the Alchemist for just a little while longer.
It definitely might be good for them as well, considering that they've lost the last 2 fights they've gone for, and now Gechik pops himself the Exorcism level 2. Gonna be an easy tier 1 really, even with the glyph coming out, which actually, whoop, they used a tad too late, so now suddenly it's on cooldown. Otherwise it refreshes every single time a tower drops, but Gechik, can they catch anybody in the mid lane? And Invasion actually, they're heavily lacking initiation themselves. They've relied on just getting skewered on the Tidehunter and popping the Ice, but they get the Hex onto Net, Ice Path to follow up as well. There's the Earth Spike, they have the Finger of Death. Are they even gonna use it? Nope, not necessary. So another kill favoring Invasion. They get the tower down as well, they save their own. So Invasion looking pretty damn good, to be honest, all things considered.
Yeah, they're going to be pushing, though, up top lane without the Exorcism, so it's going to be rather slow. Liquid Fire level 4, though, is going to mean that the pushing is going to happen regardless. Mag is in position for potentially an RP, but Tidehunter has a Ravage, and last time he did that, it didn't go well for the Mag, so he's probably going to think twice. I don't think Malaysia could defend this. I don't think they should even try. It's just a little bit too risky. They are just going to farm up the map, and Nature's Prophet is going to be doing Nature's Prophet things, split pushing down the bottom lane, trying to force Invasion's hand, but Invasion, they're going strong up on top, and this tower is going to go down. The question is, can Malaysia get anything in exchange? The answer is going to be yes, as Ohio does backdoor the mid tier 1.
Well, a good Nature's Prophet does what a Nature's Prophet does. So nicely done getting that trade at the very least. Although, do you think Invasion are just gonna keep on going? I mean, Liquid Fire level 4 is just such a strong ability by itself already. Even the Nether Toxin helps out a little bit catching, though never mind, he's gonna TP back, defend the tier 2, which is, wow, down to 300 HP just from the 3 ends plus the creeps.
Yeah, siege creeps do quite a bit of damage. Tower will survive as the push is stopped from invasion. If they weren't stopped right there, then Malaysia would have been in danger of getting their high ground pushed because Liquid Fire is always going to be available and Exorcism would have been cooling down by the time they reached that tier 3. So it's really good that Malaysia actually managed to stop that. And unfortunately for them, they're not going to get anything off of this. They're smoked up in the Radiant jungle and they're going to find absolutely nothing. So Malaysia, they're still looking to be aggressive, but Invasion, they're pretty much moving as a 5-man unit, with the exception of right now where Kesekemba is kind of doing his own thing, but everyone else is not really vulnerable to getting picked off solo because there's always going to be that Ravage backup. And Malaysia aren't really good at those huge 5-on-5 fights. Yes, they have Mag, but they'll rather have a fight where there's 2v2s and a 1v1 going on than a full 5-on-5.
Yeah, look at this at the moment. They're farming up the Ancients. They have power level 1 onto Mushi, who has a Maelstrom finish now as well. With the Aces Spray, I guess they're gonna farm it up reasonably fast. But still, at the very least, for Invasion, they completely lack the initiation. They just don't have the Blink jump in on anybody yet. Lion nowhere near his Blink dagger. At the very least, Crimson Guard is finished as Mushi. Whoa! Chemical Rage ends and he has to blink away from the Ancients. Oh wow.
It's okay, Mushi. We didn't see a thing. You're fine. You're going to survive. And he's going to get quite a bit of gold as well. That's Maelstrom number 2 for the Malaysia side. And Mushi is going to be able to restore himself pretty quickly. Although, now stuck in the Roshan pit. APTR is going to get hit with the Silence. Fire Blast as well. Mystic Flare. Going to drop the Dragon very low. And they will bring him down. But it's at the cost of the Skywrath Mage. And now Ghost and OK going to scout the Roshan. Realize that there's no one there. Mushi off to the side. Has Chemical Rage to regenerate back up to full. But would rather save it for a fight. At the end of the day, it's going to be a 1-for-1 trade. Minor gold, minor experience going to both teams.
Well, it's still rather even, the game. I haven't seen really any huge fights in the last 2-3 minutes, I want to say. No Ravages, no nothing, although Invasion, they have been trying to hunt for it. Whereas Malaysia, they've just toned it down, kind of. Keep on farming up and just have the Nature Prophet split push, which he's doing excellent. He has his Blink Dagger as well, plus another 2.3k in the bank already. What do you think his next item is going to be? Is he just going to finish out the Mjolnir or go for something else entirely?
Going for a Hyperstone item is going to be pretty nice for Nature's Prophet. It seems like he wants to go for a very fight-heavy build, but and the Mjolnir is going to be the logical progression after that. But it might be a little bit... He might be dissuaded a little bit by the fact that Alchemist might be going for that item as well, and you don't really want to have that many static charges running around. Especially since it's mostly going to be the Alchemist who's going to be taking the focus. That being said, Mushi and Ohio are in quite a bit of trouble. They're going to sprout and try to secure the Roshan, but Ghost is coming with the Ravage. The Aegis is claimed and Mushi needs to blink out, but he gets Ravage. They're both going to die right now. That's the death of Nature's Prophet for real. And Alchemist, he might be able to blink out. Nope, he's going to get instantly hexed, and he's going to go down as well. Top lane has been pushed by Malaysia. They're going to catch FC, Silence, Fire Blast, Multicast, and the Mystic Flare. But he has level 4 Corrosive Skin. He's going to take pretty much no damage from this. He's only going to drop to half. And everyone else from Malaysia has got to back off. They unloaded everything they had onto his Viper, and he shrugged it off easily. And they lost 2 heroes. Got Roshan experience and gold, I guess, but that's certainly not worth it.
It definitely is not. But I guess it could have gone a little bit worse, like I said. At least they got the Roshan XP and gold, but definitely it wasn't what they planned there. Or if it was a pretty damn bad plan, to be honest. So Invasion once again coming out ahead, and slowly but surely, Invasion, they're just taking the upper hand in this game. Kind of making Malaysia back off from their usually aggressive style. And I really don't think Ogre as well as Skywrath Mage usually want to do that. You want to keep on getting the kills, so you'll get the levels, get the higher levels into the ultimates. At the moment it's just not happening, and well, Ravage is on cooldown for 80 seconds, so if Team Malaysia want to fight now with the Reverse Planet, I guess it's as good a chance as any.
They're still moving as a 5-man unit though, and that's where Malaysia don't want to fight unless Mag gets a miracle RP. And that's possible, but unlikely. He is in the area for a good one, but he's completely spotted out by a Radiant Observer. So it's actually going to be Mushi who gets hexed up first. He might turn this one around. Yeah, he will try to. He has a Blink Dagger available soon, and he's going to chuck one at FC, but he's not going to get the vision. FC's going to live through the stun, or at least not even going to be thrown at him. They're going to throw everything they have once again onto this Viper. Ravage is not available just yet. RP available for KY, but he's going to get Ice Path and Spiked. Macro Pyre's there as well. RP is out, but it's not going to do jack, as Mushi's going to throw the stun, trying to kill off this Viper. He's so tanky, and he's still alive. Mushi's going to drop in the back end, and Net is going to try to kill off the Viper. The Ignite will do it, and the Ice Path actually misses on the Ogre, so he's going to live, but X maybe not as lucky as Kesek has not been in that fight. He's now going to join and clean up the 4th hero of Team Malaysia. All of that for a Viper who's just so damn tanky. Malaysia, they're definitely on the back foot now, and Invasion have a very comfortable lead, especially since they could very easily take this tier 2 tower after a 4-man wipe.
Well, at the very least, the Ogre got the escape. I have no idea how the Ice Buff actually missed or ADTR. I guess he got the angle a little bit off there. So, small, just, I don't know, a small price for Malaysia. But the biggest thing is that they didn't even use the Exorcism in that fight, which is now level 3 as well. So, if they lose a fight without Ravage and Exorcism on Invasion, what the hell are they gonna do otherwise? And of course, targeting the Viper, they can't really ignore the Viper since he has the Aghanim Scepter by now, Viper Stack plus Poison Attack all around otherwise. But going on the Viper definitely is also a mistake, so how do Team Malaysia take fights now even?
They don't take 5-on-5 fights. They have to find opportunities where Invasion are split off and kind of doing their own thing, and then just get right back onto the Blink Dagger plan. Jump in on them with the Blink Daggers, with the Nature's Prophet teleport, and then try to bring them down. If you bring down someone like Nature's Prophet, you buy yourself so much time because she has to wait to respawn and then walk back to the lane. And all the while, you're going to be looking for more kills. But Invasion, they're not going to let that happen. They know that their strength is in the Death Ball, and they're just going to keep on rolling with it. Shockwaves are going to clear the creep wave a little bit, but Blink Forward from Lion is not going to find anything. X and Net up on the high ground. They're going to possibly think about going on this, but it will be suicidal. They need a 5-man RP if they're going to take this fight, quite honestly. Malaysia, they have a lot of Chain Lightning, but there is quite a lot of durability on the other end. So where's the rest of the team? In fact, OK is going to jump down to KYXY. Spike is there after a Hex. He's going to survive the initial burst. However, the secondary dot is not going to be enough for Mag to survive, and they very easily take out the Mag. Without the Mag, can they really fight this one? They're going to lose the tier 3. They are pushing top and bottom at the same time, so this isn't going to be a free push for Invasion. But Malaysia, they're not mounting a defense. Buyback forced out from the Mag. Mushi off to the side. He's going to get silenced. Probably has to stun himself, and he will. Over in the back end, they're going to devour the 2 supports who came in, thinking Mushi was going to start the fight, but they were wrong. KYXY is back in. He doesn't have a blink. He's going to try to get close enough for a Skewer RP, but he's not going to find anyone. Now silenced up, getting hit with a Viper Strike, and now he's slowed to a crawl. Ice Path is once again going to miss, but doesn't matter. KYXY is already down. Here comes Mushi as well as Ohio. They're going to fight 2v3 still. Net's back in this fight. He's going to try to go for Keswick, whereas Ohio's beating down on him. He's not actually doing that much damage. Keswick with the Bloodstone, Plate Mail, too tanky in Ohio. He's going to go down after this, killing off no one. Mushi going to try to run away from the Jakiro. Dual Breath is going to miss, it seems. Mushi still potentially in a little bit of trouble. Crypt Swarm will miss. FC doesn't have enough mana. They do hold their Raxes for now, but Invasion, they could reload and just go straight away again on this mid lane. Keswick doesn't have his ultimate for another 45 seconds, but do they even need it? Malaysia just got completely demolished there, as Invasion didn't lose a single hero, and Malaysia had to use 2 buybacks.
Well, I don't really even want to look at the graphs. Well, I do, but I fear that it will be kind of painful if you're a Team Malaysia fan. So suddenly a 12,000 net worth lead might even just scale up even further. XP, wow, 14,000 and climbing. Invasion, it's definitely their game to throw at the moment, and like you said, they can just reload, get their mana back, get the health full, and just go on their X once again. With the Exorcism this time around, they should be easily able to melt it completely. And man, this Magnus overall as a pick so far hasn't really worked out. I really had great expectations, but they kind of lost their momentum as well as their confidence after the skewer into the Ravage. So I don't know, man. As they get the kill onto Jakiro, but it's only a support, and in the mid lane, there's the Mystic Clear KOX1. He got his ultimate off, but no kills yet. Ketchik even survives. They're going to slow down Extinct as well. Easy kill, no TP out for him, and actually, oh, Evil Scepter onto Net's Ogre. So he's going to get silenced up, taken out rather easily, so with the Hex assisting a little bit. So a 3-for-1 exchange in the end. And once again, they still have the Exorcism, no Ravage used in that fight. Malaysia, they just can't fight at all.
Yeah, I think you hit it on the head when you said that they kind of just lost all their steam once that Skewer RP happened over on the mid lane when Invasion wanted to push that tier 1. After that, I don't think Malaysia have had a decent fight since then. I mean, their Alchemist is still getting an okay amount of farm, but you want your Alchemist to have more than a Maelstrom at this point in the game. The Blink Dagger is essentially a dead item in his inventory, and now Malaysia, they're going to lose Raxes. This is going to be mid lane in its entirety, almost guaranteed. They might even lose another tier 3, or at least get top lane pressure a little bit. It is pretty healthy, so they might not lose anything else but this, but still Invasion have that chance, and they will go for it. This Death Prophet is extraordinarily tanky. Really everyone on Invasion is, and Malaysia simply don't have enough. They need an RP, but it's not even available for them. So this is going to be mid lane down, top lane down. And Malaysia, they have to make some sort of last stand here. Go all in, otherwise you just lose the game. They are waiting for the Nature's Prophet to split push down bottom a little bit, but Lion's going to jump on him and almost completely bring him down. No Finger of Death available. They're going to jump in. Mushi with the BKB. He's going to try to go for Keswick. He's going to throw up into the air. Mystic Flare is going to completely whiff. KYXY off to the south is going to get literally nothing done as FC is going to demolish him in the meantime. Ohio's going to blink straight into the middle of this fight, but now the Ravage is going to connect onto 4. That's going to bring down the Nature's Prophet. Mushi to follow soon after. And now the Viper on the front lines, out of mana, but he still has more than enough damage to kill off the Skywrath Mage, as he will do so. It's a triple kill for FZ. That's going to be the second set of Raxes, and Malaysia, they cannot fight any longer. They have to have a GG call soon enough.
I guess they might try for one more since they have the reverse polarity, but I have to agree, they still don't have enough. There's the reverse polarity, actually catching 3 enemy heroes, too little, too late though. You will have the Fire Blast to follow up. Ohio is there as well. They might clean up a little bit, get some nice just comeback gold, but are they really gonna go down? FC Viper, can that hero die? I guess he cannot. And finally Ohio takes care of the Viper, but man, that hero just, he gets the counter kills before he dies himself at least. And look at this, Kechik, 22 blast down charges, man, 20 freaking 2.
Oh man, that's, I think, an instant respawn, level 20. I don't exactly know the Bloodstone instant
Yeah,
respawn.
it's pretty much, you need to have as many blast down charges as you have levels to instantly respawn.
Oh, that's very easy. I didn't realize it was that simple. Okay, well, instant respawn in the Death Prophet. She just needs travels, and she has a lot of gold, so if she wants to buy those, she can. She could even buy, like, 1 for each foot if she really wants to, and, well, Malaysia, I don't even know what they could do anymore. That was, again, their last stand, and they got completely demolished. The Nature's Prophet with the Mjolnir isn't really going to be doing that much versus Invasion. They all have a lot of armor. Like, Tidehunter has Shivas, Death Prophet for some reason has a Shivas as well, and Viper has just been unkillable this entire game. So Malaysia with 2 Raxes down, it could be an easy Roshan if Invasion really want to go for that, although it is a very long Roshan timer. Tier 2 tower on the bottom lane is still up, but I don't think it's going to be that way for very long.
To be honest, I mean, Alchemist, he went in with the BKB, feeling all high and mighty, but he really didn't do any damage up against the Shiva's cards, and overall, just lacking the items. Usually, Alchemist is picked for either just the utility role, go for the mech on your team, for example, mech into Blink, just be the initiator. But at the moment, they're just lacking the heavy right-click damage. I guess Ohio is the highest source for it. Crystal is built up on the Nature Prophet now as well. Although just one hero is not going to cut it. Heart of the Resk is also going to be finished in like 700-800 gold on Kechikima on the Death Prophet. Oh, can they find Ohio though? He's going for the TP out. Or actually, never mind. Just uses a Sprout for some vision, I guess. Don't know, but is he planning to not backdoor but creep skip just to make sure that Invasion can't push in or what?
Well, no, he's actually going to plan to go for the back door. Fortification is there, and the Tidehunter has already teleported back to deal with Mushi, and now, okay, coming in from the side, a blind spike perhaps. Ohio doesn't have a teleportation available to him. Still, the Treants are doing a small amount of damage, and that'll be enough to actually stall out Invasion's push down on bottom, so some pretty nice desperation plays from the Nature's Prophet. Is it going to be enough? I'm not too convinced. Mushi kind of doing the same thing up on top lane, but really, they're just buying time for what? The other heroes aren't even farming, so it's just stalling out for the sake of stalling out.
I guess there's still a small chance. I mean, 5-man reverse polarity can still turn things around, especially since 6.81, the combat gold is so tasty. But Mushi getting caught by Ghost. Although I don't think they have enough slows, and he gets the blink out, he should be just fine. Unfortunately, no Nature Prophet to TP in front of him for the Invasion themselves. But to be honest, Invasion, they don't even really need to go for the tier 2 and the last set of frags. They could easily just push in mid lane and go for GG as well, I think.
Yeah, they're going to probably set up to do that. They're waiting for Roshan, and he is now up. Liquid Fire is pretty much all they need to use. They shouldn't use an Exorcism for this. It'll just slow them down by too much, and they don't even need it. They're just going to go into the Roshan pit. Just Ghost and ADTR. Ghost is damn tanky. He has the Shivas and Crimson, so he's pretty much taking no damage, especially when Roshan is hitting this quickly with the Shiva's Guard Aura plus Liquid Fire. This is an opportunity for Malaysia to make something happen, and top lane is being pushed by Mushi all the while. But now the Exorcism up, Malaysia, if they do jump into this, whoever does jump in is almost certainly going to die. They have no way of getting in and getting out, and hell, I don't even know if they have a way of getting in. Yeah, the blinkers aren't in the area, so they're just going to watch as Roshan drops and feel helpless about it.
Well, Mushi does, I guess, the only thing he can do, try to split push things out. Invasion, they have to DP back, so I guess Team Malaysia, they're doing a pretty nice job of just pushing out the lanes with the Nature Prophet and, well, with any heroes that are really close by. So they're buying some more time for what? Like you asked as well before, I have no answer to that question really. But they are coming in. Have they smoked? Never mind. Net, KYXY and Extinct. There's just the three of them. They can definitely blow up one hero but between themselves. Just one hero is not going to be enough really.
Yeah, that's really what the heroes are built for. They're supposed to be able to jump in and skewer someone back into a Mystic Flare and then kill them off very easily. That hasn't happened for like 20 minutes now, and at this point it's just Nature's Prophet and the Alchemist. Their split pushing is pretty much what's keeping Team Malaysia in this game, and I don't even know if you could call this staying in the game, because they're not losing actively, but they're not winning actively either, and they're going to get caught out. Nature's Prophet is spotted by OK, turned into a frog. That's a godlike streak for Kesekimba, who apparently I'm pronouncing his name wrong, but unless anyone provides me with an alternate pronunciation, I'm going to keep calling him that. Off of that kill, Nature's Prophet down, no split pushing, or very little split pushing. This tier 2 tower is forfeit, and now the Raxes are in danger.
I think this probably is going to be the last fight. If we're ever going to see a fight from Team Malaysia, I mean, Ohio, he doesn't have a buyback. He's, well, about 200 gold short. Maybe if Mushi can take the tier 3 tower down fast or something. BKB, also purchased on KYXY. Might feel a little bit safer in going in for the reverse polarity, but is it going to do anything with Ghost? He's so damn tanky, plus he has the Aegis on himself as well on the Tide, so this Rax might just go down. Even without the Exorcism, it's going to be a little bit slower, but 10 seconds cooldown for Kechik, and Death Prophet is just going to roam through everything, the buildings, the team, whatever just is brought in front of him.
He's prepping, he's going to jump in for the stun, but it will miss actually as the Death Prophet dodges it with the Yules. Skewer back from KY is going to hit literally nobody, looking for an RP, can't find one. He's going to catch two heroes, but are they actually going to go down? The believe is going to happen, the Crimson Guard is out, and the Ravage onto everyone. That's going to be everyone from Malaysia going down, and a complete team wipe is going to seal the deal on this game. Invasion beat Team Malaysia, and we said it'll be very difficult for them to do so, but I guess the Death Ball is still strong in 0.82.
Well, it sure looks like it at the moment. Overall, just really solid draft, to be honest, by Invasion coming out. Great team fight, great pushing power at the same time as well. We thought the lanes might have been a little bit too greedy, and Malaysia, they definitely punished them early on. But since they just got their level 6s, got their team fight going, Team Malaysia suddenly didn't have an answer anymore somehow. So overall, well played by Invasion, but it is a 2-game series after all, so we're heading into game number 2, where we'll see if Team Malaysia can actually, I don't know, strike back at Invasion maybe. So guys, hope you enjoyed the cast, and if you did, be sure to follow us as well to get the notifications when we're going live next with what games, on what channels and whatnot. All the necessary links are below the stream, guys, so see you in game number 2.